All right, so today I want to talk to my people about witchcraft. You listening to me? You hear me? So the problem that we have in here is that no one is prepared for witchcraft. No one is identifying witchcraft. No one thinks that it's actually a real thing. And even if they do think it's a real thing, it's like they hear it in passing and brush it off. But what if I were to tell you that that's the reason for your poverty, that's the reason for your lack and your misfortune? Um, as much as you don't really have witchcraft on your radar when you're trying to follow God, and especially if you lukewarm, you're on their radar very highly. So let me just give you, let me just help you to understand how real this is, so it could be on your radar and what people of today's age are currently doing. So witchcraft has been prevalent since the beginning of time. Rituals and crystals, blue moon festivals, new moon festivals, full moon festivals, incantation and divination have always been done. It's a real thing. And I want to give you some examples of things that happened to myself that leads me to believe, and some examples from the Bible that also is evidence of witchcraft and what we're supposed to be doing, because we slipping out here, our guard is down, and we're focused on the wrong thing. So let's start this off. Some things that have happened to me. I was once just like you all, where I didn't believe it was real, so I wanted to, go poke around, poke the bear, and you get, you can get bit. You poke the bear, you poke the lion, you get the claw or whatnot. And so for the last 3.5 years, I've been paying the consequences to dealing with a witch. True story. It started off as something lighthearted, something that was just supposed to be fun with the tarot cards and telling the future with the tarot cards. So she started in with the tarot cards. We were sitting there after we had, did what we would do. You know how they go. You know how they get you. And so once you do with one of these witches, they kind of got your guard down. She wanted to do a tarot reading, and I was like, man, this ain't real, but let's go. So she shuffled the cards. She laid them out in a specific order, much like you see on TV. They're not hiding it. And she pulled the card out. Sure enough, it was a man on the card with 2 demons on the side, or was it one demon? I can't really remember. Looked like a demon, looked like a clown, really, like a jester that would be dancing for the king. And she looked at the card. She showed me the card. She said, "You and I are going to have a long relationship." I don't think it should. I'm like, man, we ain't finna have no goddamn long relationship. I'm a, Playboy K. That's not how that happened. She was damn right about this long relationship. So I didn't think nothing of it. I came back, still playing around, poking the bear, and she ended up making this drink. I didn't know. It was just like a canteen or whatnot. And she drunk some of it. She's like, "Do you want some?" I'm like, yeah. So she drank some of it, gave it to me. I drank some of it, and I knew. Like right then, I knew, right? Like, because it didn't taste like nothing. It tastes like a leaf. That's what it tastes like, a damn leaf. And soon after that, right? I lost a lot of things. Like I was supposed to be kickboxing champion in Kansas. I was going to be kickboxing champion. I got all the way to the finals. I had him beat, you know what I'm saying? And, things just didn't go the way that I thought they was going to go. I had been winning fights. I hadn't lost any fights, you know what I'm saying? 3 knockouts that year. But after I drunk this, I went and took that fight, and, I lost the belt. I lost the championship round. Then after that, I lost my job. And then after that, some people really close to me got sick and died, and I really believe that it was because of this. And then after that, I had to move again a couple years later. About a year later, I had to move again because things just didn't pan out. It's just like I couldn't gel for the longest of time. And it wasn't till, I started to get back on my walk with God because I wanted to clarify my life and see what was going on in my life. And it turns out that, I kind of started to, God revealed to me that you're dealing with witchcraft, right? You're dealing with somebody has put witchcraft on you through ritual, and you accepted it. And I did, And so even with that, I would just do regular prayers like, God help me, God help me. I didn't want to, just to keep happening to me. And that it made me feel better, but let's just be quite frank, it didn't work because I didn't have an understanding of how to use my strength to kill these demons. And that's where I'm trying to tell you is that you have to use power and strength to kill these demons in an orderly fashion. You can't just haphazardly pray. I'm just going to be real with you. You have to be more specific in your prayers, more specific in your actions, and more specific with the favor that God is giving you, how to listen to God. So I felt like I had to pay for that, and God was saying, okay, I'm going to help you out with this, but you need to be the person that I'm molding you to be. All right? So the type of rituals that witches do when they get initiated often starts with sex rituals. So you need to go get some literacy from your local library, or maybe even some things off YouTube can help you. But from what I've been learning is a lot of the rituals start with, a sexual ritual. Well, I've heard instances of multiple witches getting initiated at a single time by having sex with a resurrected dead corpse. Yes, I said what I said. And I know that it sounds strange, but it's the warlocks and the wizards that really have the grand power. The witches just exercise it differently, right? So they go and they consult. It's usually an older warlock, and he then puts them through this sexual ritual, and they accept it. And then shortly after that, he tells them other things that they need to do in order to finish the initiation. Usually it involves taking the life of someone that's innocent. I'm going to keep it quite real and quite frank with you. Usually the witches try to take the lives of toddlers and babies. They could, use, a lot of times they use powders, poisonous powders, so that the death could be untraced. And you'll think that your baby just got sick and died the whole time, that the baby never died. This is why a lot of people say, be careful who you let lay hands on the belly when the baby's in the womb, because sometimes even if the baby doesn't die due to some of the spells that they cast on the babies in the womb, the baby can still come out deformed and have some type of, brain deficiencies, body deficiencies. Because why? Because we're not aware of these are witches around us, and we're not protecting ourselves, right? After the taking of innocent life, at that point, the mind frame of the ladies, and even if it's a man doing these rituals, the mind frame of the young demonic spirits within these witches and warlocks has completely changed over. Like, they no longer see themselves as human beings that can come back from, quote unquote, the dark side, the evil side. I mean, that's a big deal to take an innocent life. So once the innocent life is done, I've also heard instances in the same scenario where now we have to do a mass killing, right? A mass killing. So now they do different things to cause different incidences to happen. And now I'm telling you this at my own risk. I'm not afraid. I stay prayed up. I know that, I'm going to get attacked either way it go. I'm going to fight either way it go. It doesn't matter to me. Well, it does matter, but I'm not afraid. They're going to attack me either way it go. They'll attack you in your dreams. They'll attack you through the ones that you love. They will attack you in your health. They will attack you at your workplace, through your finances. They will attack you in your mind, through your confidence and your emotional, and through your, cause anxiety. They will attack you everywhere that you go, through people that you don't even know. They will just attack you, right? They will, so I've heard of some of these initiations where they say that they want the witches to bring them back 1,500 souls. 1,500 souls apiece. That's how much, how real this is. They want them to bring back 1,500 souls to the dark kingdom. This stuff is real, y'all. Y'all gotta pay attention. And so, as I continue with an entirely different rituals, and sometimes over in Africa, if you go and you look at some of these videos, and I think I need to leave links to the videos in the comments. And I think I will do that. Leave links to these videos where some African witches, sometimes they have double-headed snakes. I know that's something that people are aware of like a hybrid or a dual-headed snake. When they see those type of snakes, they go and they kill a chicken. Of course, when they kill the chicken, they take and they also have an egg of that same chicken, and they have a glass of wine, right? And so they offer and sacrifice the dead snake these offerings, and then they talk to the snake and receive and ask for evil things to happen to people. This is real. And so they're conjuring. That's what that's called. They're conjuring spirits and conjuring happenings to happen to people whom they just want it to happen to. You might just be more beautiful than them. You might just be more outgoing than them. You might just love God, and they don't love God, and they are your enemies. And where you might spend 1 or 2 hours a week at church, they're spending their lives doing this. They're dedicated to doing this. And there are other rituals out here that they do, and I study them now because I know that I got a duty to, now that I see that this is real, I have a duty to protect my brothers and sisters and spread the truth on this. And, God's going to help me and keep my family safe and keep us all safe. But let me continue. What we have to do is be able to identify when we're being attacked and how to pray. So, since this has been done in ancient times, you have to use the examples that have been given in ancient times to structure your prayers, right? Let's talk about, before we get into how to pray, let's talk about ancient wizards and witches, okay, and how powerful they are. So there's a demon god called Baal, Baal. I know it's mentioned in the Bible quite a bit. It's mentioned out through history quite a bit. And they also have Dagon, but Dagon was more of a marine kingdom god that they served. But I'm gonna focus on Baal. So Baal had prophets That's what they wanted to say, that they were prophets in the Bible. And they would do all of these happenings, or these magic or divination, right? And so they weren't prophets. They were actually what? They were warlocks, right? And because they're evil entities. And so and this happens, when the prophet Eli, during the times of the prophet Eli. And so Eli, of course, was actual prophets anointed by God. And what Eli was doing was he was challenging them, and, he killed them with the use of fire, right? That God had gave him the power, because God, the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, is the highest power. So once word got out that Eli was doing these two Baal's quote unquote prophets, or his warlocks, kind of like a war was brewing between the good and the bad, and there was many prophets on the good side dying as well. But Eli was standing toe to toe. He was strong, and I hope that you take heed to the fact that even being prayed up and going to church and calling out the name of, Jesus, or however you serve, that's not enough. You have to be aware of what is necessary to ward off these spirits and these demons. So, as Eli was, working for the kingdom of God, there was one that was way more powerful than the warlocks he had been conquering, and that was the witch Jezebel. The very famous, everybody knows Jezebel. She was using her seductive powers and, to do her things within, over King Ahab at that time. And it was sad, but she did succeed over a lot of prophets. And that goes to show you that if you're not really serving God and you're just calling out the names and going to church hooping and hollering, and you're not really reading, and you're not praying correctly, you're not fasting, you're not even coming down to eating good, eating correctly, and exercising these, and practicing celibacy and semen retention. If you're not doing these things, you're exposed on another level, because Jezebel, was raw. She would kill to get what she wanted, and she had no mercy. And Eli was afraid of her. Now, put that together. If there was a prophet that was totally submerged in doing the will of God, whom God ordained to have supernatural powers, was scared of a certain level of witchcraft, and you, on the other hand, you go to church once a week, you go to the club, you listen to witches after you get out the club, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Glorilla, right? That's what you listen to. That's what they listen to. And you listen to Usher and so many of these celebrities that sold and they're under demonic possession too. Some of them willingly, some of them unwillingly. That's who you listen to. The TV that you watch, the music that you listen to, the social media that you post, that's currently the continuously putting subliminal messages in your mind. These are all forms of witchcraft on a minor level to keep you off guard. Because if they ever catch you crossing over to some of the levels that I've been and going to, they're going to attack you harder. The devil knows who to send to who, and he knows who's weak and he knows who's strong. And so with all that being said, I feel like, new levels, new devils is an understatement compared to what's really going on here. You guys need to learn how to protect yourselves. Because if Eli the prophet was aware that there's levels to this, and you think that this little bit of work that you putting in is enough to ward off the big boy major spirits that come up against you, you're sadly mistaken. You got to be every day on guard. So now these are things that you need to be, these are prayers that I know that you need to start saying as much as on the daily, all the time, and things that I pray. One thing I pray for is for God to put a shield of protection around me, my family, my extended family, my loved ones, anywhere that I go, and to basically make me strong enough to make my shield of protection strong enough to withhold any of the spells that they try to put on me, any other rituals and spells and divination, to cancel it and block it. Right, so that's the first thing I'm doing. I'm praying to fortify my protection, and I pray over it multiple times a day when I'm driving on the highway. Protect me on my way, God, because I know that when they want to capture these souls, they can cause accidents and things to happen, road rage, where people just get out of the car and they don't know what's coming over them. They're pulling guns out, killing one another. It's not normal. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of witchcraft going on. There's a lot of wizardry going on. I pray over my land a lot. Like, I don't even want them to even, I pray over the house and the land, right? I don't want none of that. No type of spells and incantations to get through my barrier of supernatural protection. I also pray that, and they call it a hedge of protection in the Bible. Some people might know it as that. But I also pray for angels, because the Bible will tell you that God can disperse angels to protect you, like, many other people that, in stories in the Bible where angels are to protect us. But if you don't pray for God to provide these angels to protect you on a higher level, then, are you really protecting yourself? So that's the first thing. You pray for protection. Then you have to pray for their supernatural force to be weakened and to fall so that they can be exposed, right? Because you have to pray these things specifically. You have to pray that their force of energy falls and that it is exposed. So now that their force of energy is exposed, you can now, what that does is now allow you to pray so that whatever they try to put on you is reversed on them and causes the same pain, death and anguish tenfold. Yes, I said death. I'm not playing no games. You know what I'm saying? We don't want these creatures to live. We don't want this, because they're not. I'm going to put it to you like this. In 2024, 2025 now, if you think things are going to go back to normal, you're sadly mistaken. Things are not going back to normal. Things can still be good for you. You can still have blessings. But this world that we in now is not changing. It's here to stay, and it's going to get worse. Right? And you're going to physically see with your eyes. And that leads me to my next point. After you pray for your protection to be stronger, after you pray for theirs to be lowered and so they could be exposed, and then you pray for the reversal of all the spells and incantations that they putting on your life and any of your friends' life, you then pray for God to reveal the enemy so you will know the enemy. It is then, after he reveals the enemy, it is still things at play. Like, I understand it's you might not think that it's real, but you need to try and see how your life becomes greater and less eerie, less strange things, and things you thought, man, this is something I was dealing with for a long time, and all of a sudden things just got normal, and things seemed like things started working for me because you've been praying them demons away from your world. You've been praying them out of there. You've been casting them out. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. As you grow spiritually and your circle is not growing spiritually, you can cause another person to become hurt because the spirits that you're fighting against can be propelled away, but can grab a hold of somebody else because the enemy knows that if I hurt them, I can hurt you. Right? This is why it's important to pray for protection of your loved ones as well, because they might not know how to ward off, and because you're so strong and they're trying to get to you, they're gonna get to the ones that are closest to you. You understand what I'm saying? For instance, when Samuel, the prophet Samuel, was telling Saul, hey, God wants you to do this. And so you might be you're saying that God wants you to pray, or you're going around, you're saving people, and you're saying you need to turn your life around, make these prayers, and you need to do this to prevent yourself from being susceptible to witchcraft. Saul didn't listen to Samuel at some point in his journey, and God removed the anointing from Samuel. And shortly after, Samuel died in battle after consulting medium, right? A dream seer, I think is a seer. I think a dream seer or something. And that was a form of witchcraft that Samuel had came up under, right? Because God, left Samuel because he didn't listen to the prophet who was anointed to do what God was saying to do, and he felt susceptible, and he died after dabbling in witchcraft. So if you have someone that you know is not ready, and not only should you not just divulge too much information too soon to those who are not ready, right? You don't want to put an amateur fighter with a pro fighter; they'll get destroyed. You have to protect them with them unknowingly, right? And this is how deep this game is getting out here. And I'm not going to stop. I'm always continue to bring content like this, and still with, my retention content. But I feel like that it's a duty of mine to continue to teach you guys about protecting yourself against demonic spirits, witchcraft, warlocks, Satan's kingdom. We can't get caught slipping. See you.